Hi and welcome back to the Insurance Basics series. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the basics around coverage limits, so let's get started. What is a coverage limit? A coverage limit is the maximum amount an insurance company will pay for a covered claim. What happens if you exceed your coverage limit? If the cost of a covered claim exceeds the maximum amount of your coverage limit, then you might be responsible for the difference. It's essential to review your policy to understand what is the limits that you have, but also if there are additional ways to up the coverage or see if you have a different insurance that might cover the difference. How is coverage limit determined? So coverage limits are usually dependent on numerous factors. It could be the type of insurance that you have. It could be differences in the individual claims that they have under that policy. So there might be a difference for, like in a homeowner's policy, there might be a coverage differences for dwelling. There might be coverage differences for personal property, for liability. You also have to take into consideration what is your limit, as in what do you think would cover you maximally. When you are going shopping for a policy, you want to consider what are those potential maximums, because things do get more expensive as time goes on. So you might have a homeowner's policy that served you well when you first initially bought the house, but now with the increased costs in labor, increased costs in supplies, that might not be enough if you have a total loss. So that is something that I always recommend, that you go and sit with your insurance broker, with your insurance agent, with the company, and kind of just go through it all, not necessarily always on a yearly basis, but at least frequently enough, so that way you can make sure that if something happens, you are covered. Is the coverage limit the same for every policyholder? The answer is no. Coverage limits will vary based off of different factors. A policyholder can potentially individually request a higher coverage limit and therefore pay a higher premium, but you wouldn't know. So no, generally it's not the same across every policyholder. And they might have different assets they want covered, different liabilities. They may have different health concerns. It's dependent on also what type of insurance you are taking out. Can you adjust your coverage limit? Yes, in most cases you can adjust your coverage limit, and generally that means that you will be paying a higher premium to have a higher coverage limit. However, something to consider is that when you are upping your coverage amount, you might have a waiting period. So you might be paying for more coverage, but you might have like a 10-month waiting period to then get the new amount if you file a claim within those 10 months. So for example, I have short-term disability, and I just changed it and increased my short-term disability to a higher amount. And because of that, I have a 10-month waiting period. So if I file a claim for my short-term disability within those 10 months, then I am not going to get the amount that I am currently paying for. I'm going to get the amount that I previously was paying for. Do coverage limits apply to all types of claims? Yes, typically coverage limits do apply to all types of claims. However, the amount that is allowed permissible for each type of claim might be different. So if we look into auto insurance, you might have a different cap for bodily injury liability, uninsured motorists, property damage, or comprehensive/collision damage. So each of those might have a different max amount, and in one accident you might be filing multiple claims, not just one. How do you ensure that your coverage limits are adequate for your needs? Well, when you are determining whether or not insurance is for you and if it will cover your needs, you have to consider exactly what are your needs. So that includes your assets, your liabilities, your lifestyle, and what potential risks you might have individually. Generally, it's always advised to seek guidance, and that is either through an insurance agent, an insurance broker, in some cases like a life insurance agent, etc., because they can tell you and give you better guidelines or give you information regards to the policies that they can potentially offer you and how that might fit your needs or not. Does your coverage limit affect your premiums? Yes, generally the higher the coverage limit, the higher the premium, and it's also the same vice versa. So if you lower your maximum amount, then generally your premium also begins to decrease. Now, you always have to weigh the pros and cons because while you might be saving on a monthly basis by having lower coverage, if you do have to file a claim, you need to make sure that you are able to cover the difference. So understanding how much something's going to cost you if you file a claim is important. Can you purchase additional coverage that goes beyond your policy limit? Yeah. In many cases, you can not only with that particular insurance company buy more, but you could get supplemental insurance policies to cover the difference. Supplemental policies may offer you additional benefits or additional coverage limits should you need them, but in general, you have to file with the primary first before you file with the secondary. And that's the next one. So if you're interested in that and the video is already posted, you can find it here. So yeah, that's the basics around coverage limits. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please drop a comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer it or turn it into a video like this. As a general reminder, please understand that this information is general. I don't know your personal circumstances. I don't know what insurance policies are available to you. And so I am not qualified to give you insurance guidance in that manner. If you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and give this video a like. Also, share it with a friend if you think they don't know the basics around insurance, or there is a playlist where you can find all of these videos that are covering the basics around insurance here. I hope that if you are new to this channel that you consider subscribing to it. Every week I do a personal finance breakdown, kind of like this, or I talk about my personal finances myself. For those of you who are subscribers, thank you for tuning in yet again. Your support is really appreciated. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for keeping it going, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't really be doing this. So I hope you have a great one. And until the next video, bye.